Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, techniques to witness the flux life, film of life. Life moves in a flux. You keep on watching, things keep on happening. There are sometimes desires, sometimes there is different moods. So it is almost like a flux, and that is what goes on. And in that situation, in that state, how you can maintain the balance, how you can maintain the balance in life and not be affected by these flux like situations. Things keep on happening like a film, keep on coming onto the surface. At the same time, certain things are happening on the stage. You would have seen stage performances where there is a live performances going on, and if a live performance is about an artist, simultaneously in the background some of the scenes of his perform previous performances like a flux keep on flashing on the TV screen. This is how life becomes a flux like. So in that situation, what are the techniques that can help you to be a witness in that? So this you would have seen that we are paying a tribute to a particular artist. He is there, live performances are taking place. So this is what it is happening. Someone is singing on the stage his songs or acting what he had done in the past, and simultaneously scenes from that acting or singing that he had done also keep on flashing on the TV screen. At times it happens you are doing something, you are thinking, you are into another relationship, a situation comes in. So a flux like situation of the life happens. Immediately the past experiences of your life keep on flashing like they keep on flashing like a movie that is going on. So you can understand the two situations. Someone tells you something and immediately you recollect, a flux goes on, flux like film, that in the past someone has said similar thing to you. So in that the moods changes. So the first sutra says, in moods of extreme desire. Desire is one word used to explain, to encompass all the flux like situations. Desire may be one, because whatsoever happens in life, it is because of the desire. You are cooking food, you want to make a new dish, you want to enter into another relationship. All these things are happening out of desire. So, in the moods of extreme desire, be undisturbed. You are in a relationship at the moment. All of a sudden, while the live acting is going on, some things of the past begins to flash and they disturb you. It reflects at the level of the body, at the level of the psychology. Immediately the flow of the energy gets disturbed. So in that situation, when there are moods of extreme desire, be undisturbed. The second sutra says this so-called universe appears as a juggling, a picture show. To be happy, look upon it so. You would have seen a juggler doing the acting. So in the so-called universe appears as a juggling, a picture show. To be happy, look upon it so. O beloved, Shiva tells Devi, O beloved, put attention neither on pleasure nor on pain, but between these two. Either you are ecstatic because of the happiness or pleasure that you are getting, or you are disturbed, affected by the pain, but the in-between situation you don't know. The fourth sutra of this, objects and desires exist in me as in others as well. We only are aware of our own desires and objects. You have desires to enter into sex relationship in a particular way. You want to have the choice, the type of person that you want to be this way. You have to remember, you have to understand the other is also one like you. He may also have desires to perform the things in this way or that way. Or he may have choice of the person to interact with. If you have a choice, if let's say I happen to be the right choice for you, then does it not matter that are you the right choice for me? Because everyone have their own desires and choice of objects. You want to, in a restaurant, you want to eat something of your choice, or you are in the shopping complex, you want to buy something of your choice. Does it not matter that the other have his or her own choice and desires? You want to bring the things in the house according to your choice, but you are not the only one living in that house. So when there is choosing the color of the walls, the curtains, the type of furniture, the other accessories, does the opinion of the other not matters? Do you accept their choices? It happens. that wife wants to get the walls of the room painted in her bed, their bedroom, but she calls it my bedroom, not our bedroom, in one particular color. Husband wants in another color and want to decorate the the room or the house in this way. Choices. So just as you have a choice, you have a desire of the objects, in the same way these exist in others also. So accepting, let them be transformed. Let them be transformed. So when it comes, this all relates to the moods, understanding that this so-called universe appears to be juggling a picture show. You are happy when there are moments of happiness or pleasure, and saddened when there are moments of pain. So be in the middle. So at the crux of all these techniques, there is mind. Mind is the original mind is mirror-like. It simply mirrors, just as when an object is placed in front of the mirror, even if you are standing in the eyes of the mirror, you are an object, and the mirror is reflecting you as you are. So when you are, the relationship becomes the mirror. So when you look into the relationship of, into the mirror of relationship, you realize how far you have grown. It is pure. The surface, the quality, the reflecting quality of the mirror never changes. It always remains pure. But what happens? If it is not in use, if it is not properly cleaned, it gathers dust upon it. And there becomes layers of dirt, layers of dust upon it. The purity, the reflecting quality of the mirror is never lost. The dust cannot destroy the mirroring quality of the mirror. But certainly that quality can be covered by dust. So when your mind is mirror-like, all these things keep on gathering on to the surface of the mind, and the surface becomes opaque and not clear. It does not clearly reflect or mirror whatsoever comes in front of it. That's why we are deceived. Someone comes in front of you, says a few pleasant words, pleasing words to you, praises you, you are affected by it. You did not see the real face of that person because your mirroring capability is covered by the dust. This is the condition of the ordinary mind, which is covered with dust, layers of dust. Hidden behind the dust exists the original quality of the mind to mirror. That remains pure. It cannot become impure or it cannot be lost. You can never, the mirror will not lose its capability. I am giving the example of the mirror, but there are, remember that the example is given, mind is being compared with mirror. but mind, it mirrors. But the mirror that you know and the mirror that mind is are two different things. Hidden behind the dust remains the original mind. It cannot become impure. It cannot lose its mirroring capabilities. That is impossible. And if it is possible for it to become impure, then there will be no way to regain the purity again. In itself, it remains pure, just covered with dust. This is the situation of the mind. So, there is a difference between a Buddha mind and your mind. Your mind is original mind with capability, with capacity to mirror, plus dust gathered on it. Once you know the process of to remove the dust, how to remove the dust from the surface, you have known all that is worth knowing, and you will attain all that which is worth attaining. So all these techniques are concerned with how to free your mind from day-to-day dust. Firstly, whatever dust has been gathered, it is removed, and at the same time, it does not gather any more dust. So it is like you are going to the dentist to get the teeth cleaned. So dentist will clean whatsoever is there between the teeth. It will polish or whatsoever is necessary, and at the same time he will give instructions so that this does not happen again. But if you do not follow the instructions of the dentist, you will have to go every certain period of time to remove. You have not learned the art of not gathering, not accumulating things between the teeth. In a day-to-day functioning, dust is but natural. You have taken a shower, you are going out, there is sun, so you may perspire. There may be specks of dust. You may get dirty, then you have to take constant shower. So in certain months, the summer, you take a shower in the morning. Then when you return from outside, you take a shower. These are the precautionary measures. In the same way, to keep the mind intact, free from the dust, it can be done. Whatever dust has been accumulated, layers that can be removed, just as you going to the dentist, he cleans it. You go to the, you want to have your face cleaned, so you go to the respective person, mask face is put on, the face is brought to its natural glory, but you have to maintain it. A master can remove the dust that has been accumulated on the surface of the mirror-like mind, but he will give you the instructions what you can do so that this does not gather on it again. So these techniques are concerned with that. Just like a traveler passing from many roads, dust gathers, and for many lives you have been a traveler. You have traveled long distances, and much dust has been gathered. So do not take it literally. You have gone through many the relationships in life. Each has gathered something on it, something on your mind, the impressions, the moments of pain and pleasure. So you are carrying all these. There is a process, there is a way to remove all those conditionings. You have conditionings. You have gone to this priest, to this teacher, that teacher, and everyone adds something or the other to you. Many points have to be understood before you, I can take you into the techniques. The East is basically different. The ways and means of the East are different than in the West. The attitudes towards inner transformation is differ in the two. West is basically Christian oriented. Christianity thinks that something has to happen, has happened to man, being itself the sin. Something has happened. Each thinks nothing has happened to the being in itself, and nothing can happen. The being remains in its absolute purity. There has been no sin. So man is not condemned in the East because the sun gives the light, the rain, the clouds give shower, to does not discriminate between sin and virtuous, a sinner and a virtuous man, an educated man and one who is not. No discrimination of this type happens in the East. He is not degraded. On the contrary, he remains the divine as he is. Just like if the surface of the mirror gathers dust, that means mirror has become sinner. This is natural that dust will gather on the surface of the mirror as it is in use. If it remains covered in the original packing as it is, then nothing will gather on it. The moment it is exposed, your mirrors in the washroom area, on your wardrobes, all these you have to keep on cleaning from time to time. So as it is in use, the dust gathers. As you interact into the world of objects and beings, the surface of the mirror-like mind is used and it gathers dust. Dust is bound to gather, so there is no sin. This is just a false identification. You do not condemn the mirror when it gathers dust. All you take the various devices that are available to you and clean the surface of the mirror, shine it so that its reflecting quality becomes intact as well. We become identified with the mind, and with the mind means the surface of the mind, because you are not interested in what is it is only the surface of the mind that functions. Surface of the mirror that works. You cannot, if you are seeing your image into the mirror, would you like to go behind the mirror to see where this image is coming from? So there is nothing, it is only the surface that works. And on the surface, what kind of dust gathers? It is your conditionings, your inhibitions, past impressions, All these are the dust that gathers on the mind, on the surface of the mind. So when you come to the company of the master, he looks at it. Your original mind has gathered so many layers of dirt, layers of dust in the form of inhibitions, conditionings, impressions of your past lives. One thing, and the things get complicated. You have already a conditionings. Certain things have been put into you. As a Christian, you have to behave in this manner. As a Hindu, you have to behave in that manner. And you are going with preconditioned ideas, preconditioned opinion about the man that you should, or a woman that you should marry. Every man tries to look the image of mother in his spouse, and every woman looks the image of her father in the mirror, and those are not possible. Your mother is separate, and the person that you want to marry is not your mother like, but everybody looks the quality of the mother in his spouse. And every woman looks the image of her father in her spouse, and that's where the journey of failure begins. So you are going with this conditioning. Then on top of that, you are interacting. You had already had the experiences of the past life. You are entering without cleaning the surface of the mind, clearing the surface of the mirror. More dust gathers, and it continues to gather until you realize that each interaction in your life, in this multifarious universe, as you interact, you move around life's roads, dust keeps on gathering. You are driving the vehicle. Why there is a facility, a function of windshield wiper? As the car moves amidst the rain falling, dust flying, so it keeps on gathering the layers of dust upon the reflecting, the viewing surface of the windscreen. So from time to time you have to clean it. If you do not clean, the surface will become opaque and you will not be able to see. This we understand. But we don't understand something like this when it comes to the human mind. Human mind, the surface, just as without cleaning the windshield, you cannot move, your vehicle cannot move, you cannot drive safely. In the same way, unless you clean the windscreen of your mind, you cannot move forward, you cannot drive your mind. Regaining the original mind means regaining the purity, the mirroring capabilities without experiences. Experience is also layers of dust. Without knowledge, without memories of the past. That's why when Adi Shankar says Mano Buddha Ahankar Chittani Naham, I am neither the ego sense, the identity. So identity is one layer of dust. Then ego sense, identity, then memories. When something is happening in front of your eyes, you are not available, you are somewhere else. Observe what happens. You have decided to have an evening outing to a restaurant. You have gone to that restaurant. What type of talks you engage in that restaurant? and specifically when food comes in, the process of comparison begins. You know, the last time when we went to that restaurant, the food there was very good. So we have come here, we will see how good is the food here and what's the price like. So the food is in front of you. Instead of living, enjoying that can give satiation to you. You are talking about something that is not there, the memory of the past experience. You are in this current relationship while you are in the act of sex, but you are thinking of one of the past relationships. So, regaining the original mind means regaining the purity, its mirroring capability without the dust of experience, dust of knowledge, dust of memories, without past. The whole past, whole knowledge, whole experience that you are identified with, the past, and not with the consciousness that is always present. You have to focus on the consciousness. Consciousness has layers. When it functions into your relationship, it becomes like a magnet, because in your love life, there are two poles, male and female poles. So the consciousness becomes like a bar magnet. The energy, the magnetic flux charge flows from North Pole N to S, and then it completes the cycle, and that cycle is known as magnetic field. When the energy flows from one to the other in electrical circuit, it is known as electrical circuit. When the energy flows from masculine pole to the feminine pole, it always flows from the positive to the negative, and then the circle is completed, and then it becomes a cycle and known as magnetic field or electrical field or magnetic flux charge that comes from each pole. In the same way, if I have to take the same analogy, in the act of sex, there becomes a sex cycle. The sex flux charge moves from one pole to the other, and this process continues. There have been many researches which I will include in certain talks. One was 2017, a Nobel Prize was given on circadian rhythm, circadian triangle, and it is that, and because of that, the various diseases come in the human body. So what is the relationship between these? There are more positive charges comes in, negative ions does not come. Where it comes from? The earth element. So when you are in the act of sex, certain charge simultaneously has to come from the earth element, negative charge. So it does not create any kind of flux. You are sick because your body is more acidic, and that the acidicness of the body creates sickness. And the moment it becomes alkaline, so how it can become alkaline? By bringing the negative ions. Ions is the charge which is carried on electrons. How you can bring it? You can bring it through the food, you can bring it through the medicines, and then what you can do, one thing, you can take an electrical wire, dig a hole somewhere outside, and bury one bare end of the wire deep about 1 feet inside the ground. Cover it up. So this is how, when the buildings are made, you would have noticed, in order to avoid the damage to the building, certain devices are done. So one is that when there is the lightning, so the lightning goes through that wire direct into the earth, and it gets. So when you are having too much effect of the electronic devices, iPhone, iPad, smartphone, everything that you have around in your room that carries the electrical charge, that is positive charge. Negative charge is not there. So your sleep is disturbed, pain is there, this and that. So that wire that you have, one bare end you have dug into, buried deep into the ground, bring it that inside, and the other bare end, wrap it around your finger. Your sleep will be better, more ions are coming up. If you want to do the experiment, take 2 glass jars filled with water and you can take a flower, the same flower in each of the bottle, each of the glass jar, or pieces of cut apple, keep it covered and leave it there. In one, you will put that end of the bare wire that is carrying the negative ions, electrons, and through that the negative charge into the water. The apple will decompose at a very slower rate. As compared to the other, it will melt faster. You can measure the electrons. You can take a device that electricians use, voltmeter. With that, you can check what is the amount of ions coming up into this, through this. So in order for your testing, you can do that. I am introducing this concept into the male-female relation. While you are in the act of sex, how to bring this negative ions or the earth element at the moment when you are in the act of sex, so that you can regain the purity of consciousness, be free from the past, because unless you are free from the past, you will remain in bondage. You will remain a slave. The past, like dust, is heavy on you, and because of the past, the present moment is never lived. Past is known, the present is very minute, atomic moment, a very precise. You go on missing it because of the past, and because of the past you go on projecting into the future. So when you are in the restaurant, the last time when we went to that restaurant, the food was better. I think it was better. This particular item was tasting there better and the price was also better. So this is projection comes in the future. Next time when we are going, we are not coming to this restaurant again. We will go to the another one. Someone was telling that the food in that restaurant is very good. So either the past remains dominant or the future projection begins. And in that, the atomic, precise present moment is missed. Does it not happen in your day-to-day life like this? And you consider it that you are very advanced. The past is projected into the future and both are false. The past is no more, the future is not yet to be. Both are not. And that which is hidden between these two. Between these two which are not there, you miss every moment. Buddha was in search. He went from one teacher to another. He searched. He went to many masters of the time, of the masters known that time. He consulted them. He allowed them to work upon him. He cooperated, disciplined himself in many ways, but no fulfillment came. And the difficulty was this: the teachers were not interested in future, in some liberated state somewhere beyond death, after life is over. They were interested in some kind of God, some nirvana, some moksha, some liberated state somewhere in the future. And Buddha was interested only in here now. So there was really no meeting. You are interested in, you are talking, I am interested in tasting whatever is available here and make my own experience, inform the waiter how I wanted my dishes to be made. So I am here now. He said to every teacher, every master, that I am interested in here and now, in how to be total this particular moment, how to be satiated while I am consuming this food. How to be satiated when I am in this particular act of sex at this moment. And they would say, apply this method, do this. And if you do this rightly, somewhere in the future, in some life, in some future state, you will attain. You are eating food now, and you want to have satiation in future. You are eating food now. If you know how to consume the food properly, it will give you satiation instantly. If you know the art of being in the moment when the food is there in front of you, how it should be allowed to come into your mouth, how it's supposed to be chewed, and the process of digestion, your role is only to eat this consciously, enjoying every bit of it. After that, once it goes into your mouth and it is swallowed, then your role is over. If you have consciously allowed it to enter into, firstly, what type of food? Are you eating the food as VIP, very important person? Or you are eating the food as DIA, disciplined, and food of a disciplined and intelligent person? Are you disciplined in eating at that moment? Are you intelligent in choosing what you need to eat or not? or you are a very important person, whatsoever is offered to you, you eat that. Be disciplined and intelligent to choose whatever you are doing it, and when you are into it, be available to that moment and consume the food. You are in the act of sex, be into it totally. Intelligently, you have chosen the moment, the person, the way that you want to enter into it. Now it is that you have to consume it as a disciplined, intelligent person. This principle of DIF can be applied into any act that you are doing. You are driving as disciplined, intelligent driver. You are making love as a disciplined, intelligent person. And a disciplined, intelligent person will be available to this very moment. He will not be either in the past or in the future. Apply this method. So Buddha was given this method. You eat now, you do this, you choose your dishes. Before you're going, you choose your dishes. So sometimes in future you will attain to it in another life. Sooner or later, Buddha left the master. 6 years he wandered. Someone told him to live on a grain of rice. For 6 months he lived. He became very frail and lean. Nothing had happened. Then he tried by himself alone. What did he do? He did a very simple thing. Once you know it, it is very simple and obvious. But when you don't know it, it is very arduous and difficult and seems impossible. He did one thing. He remained with the present moment. He forgot the past, he forgot the future. He said, I will be here now. I will simply exist. If you can exist even for a single moment, available in the act, whatever you are doing, even for a single moment, you have known the taste of your pure consciousness. Through any act, through sex, you can know the consciousness. You are already consciousness. As I said, if I give analogy of a bar magnet, it is like a bar which has two poles, at the end of which there are two poles, male and female, and the flux charge begins to move from one to the other. From one side it comes the positive flux, from the other the negative flux, and so it happens that there more positive flux keeps on coming, the negative flux does not come, so there is no, the more and more, what happens? When more and more, this is like too much of electrical appliances in your vicinity. So you get all kind of ailments. So simple thing, you go to the doctor and get the medicine. Simply do this technique. Change the, even if you change the quality of the water by placing that wire, the earth element, the negative flux charges, the ions into the water will become the medicine. If you wrap it around you, more negative charge, negative flux will begin to go into your body. So at that moment, when you are eating, when you are making love, and this negative flux charge goes into it more, then the state will be different. Don't ask me how to bring that into. Use your intelligence. I gave you the example. In the act of love making or sex, I will explain when I finish my work on circadian rhythm and circadian triangle. So it will come up totally. That is why at times you would have known that sex act of sex brings more melatonin released in the system. It balances the sleep patterns. Many pains and so are alleviated, removed during the act of sex. If you have experienced it, how it should have happened, then many pains of the body, the lower body, this and that, vanishes on its own without the use of analgesics. So I am working on that aspect. So that will be the part of the research of the work. Research in search will be incorporated into that title, Light Beyond Sex, which is continuation. So if you exist available even for a single moment, you have known the taste of your pure consciousness, and once you have tasted, you can never forget it. Once you have experienced that moment in sex, you will not be interested in any more in normal way of your sex life. Then the taste, the flavor remains with you, and that flavor becomes the process of transformation. It is because of that taste that your process of transformation begins. Taste of what? Taste of this very moment. And if you are available, first step is available to the moment. In that moment, the consciousness that comes in, you get the taste of your consciousness, and that becomes the process of transformation. Many are the ways to uncover yourself from the past. How to throw the dust, how to remove the dust, and have a look into the mirror of your own mind. These are the techniques which are different ways, but with every technique, a deep understanding is needed. Remember this. These techniques are not mechanical. There are certain things mechanical, like for instance, you have known a heart attack and a cardiac arrest. You have known these two words. What's the difference between the two? And then there is a state of coma. Heart attack is a mechanical failure, and cardiac arrest is electrical failure. When there is cardiac arrest, electrical failure, the doctors use electrodes to revive the body. When there is a heart attack, the doctors use the mechanical device of pumping your chest area. And coma is a mechanical failure. So you have to understand this. A deep understanding is needed for this. And with deep understanding, each technique will be helpful to remove the layers of dust and uncover the mirroring surface, regain the mirroring surface once again, regain your being. So I will take from tomorrow, each one of these techniques. So until then, take care and do have a pleasant day.